Good day, boys and girls. I'm your one expert from All Boys Line. I will be giving you some tips in regards of economics in preparation for your final exam. Now, when we're going to look at paper one, you have two papers, paper one and paper two. With the content in regards of paper one, you're going to have module one, where you're going to need to be able to discuss top questions in regards of the circular flow, which is your chapter one, then business cycles, public sector, and then the foreign exchange markets. Then you're going to have module three. Now, the first topic there is your protectionism and free trade. Now, this was usually with your module one, but it moved to module three. Remember that one, it's very important. And then you're going to have growth and development, your industrial development policies, and then also your economic and social performance indicators. Now, this is all the topics you need to know for paper one. Now, the structure of your question paper is going to be, you're going to have a section A first of all. With section A, it consists out of 30 marks. This is a compulsory question and it is a mixed question. So it means that it is mixed with the module 1 and module 3 work. And then this is usually your definitions and descriptions of the different chapters that you have for each module. Your section B is going to be 18 marks that you need to answer. So this means that you need to choose 2 questions of the 3 that is provided. Now, question 2 is going to be about module 1, question 3 is about module 3, and then question 4 is a mixed question. So choose any 2 of those 3 questions then. And then this is also longer type of questions where you need to be able to answer a case study, which consists out of 10 marks, and then 8-mark questions, where one is usually a theory question and the other is an insight question that you need to answer. And then you have section C. With your section C, it is 40 marks and you need to choose one of the 2 questions. Now this will have question 5, which is from module 1, and question 6, which is from module 3. Now, the structure of this is usually going to have an introduction for 2 marks, and then you're going to have a content of 26 marks, and the additional question of 10 marks, and then your conclusion of 2 marks for it. Your long questions that is identified for paper 1 is going to be with module 1. First of all, discuss in detail the markets within the 4-sector module. And then the new economic paradigm, or they can ask it as explain the smoothing of cycles. The third one is discuss in detail the features underpinning forecasting. This is still part of chapter 2. And then in chapter 3, they have identified, discuss in detail the main objectives of the public sector in the economy, and also discuss in detail the reasons for public sector failure. And then in chapter 4, you're going to have discuss in detail the reasons for international trade, and then with module 3, you're going to have discuss in detail export promotion, and then discuss in detail the arguments in favor of protectionism. Then you'll discuss in detail the demand side approach in promoting growth and development in South Africa. The following one, discuss in detail the following South African growth and development policy and strategic initiatives. This is also where you can bring in quite a lot of your current economic situations that's there, like for example, the unemployment rate, the growth rate of South Africa. And then discuss in detail South Africa's initiative in regional development, discuss in detail the economic indicators, then the last one, discuss in detail the social indicators. Now, this is all the long questions that they can choose from for you to be able to answer. Then when we look at paper 2, the content, you're going to have module 2, which consists out of the perfect markets, then your imperfect markets, and also your market failures. Now, also part of this question paper is going to be module 4, The topics there is inflation, tourism, and environmental sustainability. Now, the structure of the question paper is going to work the same as with paper 1. Section A, again 30 marks, and it's compulsory, and then it is a mixed question, again consisting out of work from Module 2 and Module 4. Now, this also again is your definitions and descriptions that you're going to have. And then with section B, you're going to again need to answer 18 marks of it, which means it is 2 of the 3 questions that you need to answer. Now, here we're going to have question 2 is going to be about Module 2, and question 3 is about Module 4, whereas question 4 is still a mixed question consisting out of work from Module 2 and Module 4. And then, like with the question paper 1, it is longer questions, that is your case studies and your 8-mark questions. With section C, again working the same, like with paper 1, it's a 40-mark question where it is you're going to need to choose one of the 2 questions, and this is question 5 that consists out of module 2, and then question 6 that consists out of module 4. The structure of it is again going to need to give an introduction for 2 marks. You're going to need to give a content of 26 marks, the additional of 10 marks, and then the conclusion of 2 marks. Now, the long questions that is identified for paper 2 is with module 1, first of all, discuss in detail the various equilibrium positions with the aid of graphs. Then you need to go and discuss the monopoly in detail with or without graphs. I can ask you either way. Then discuss the oligopoly in detail. And then compare and contrast any 2 types of market structures in detail. Here they can go and ask you to compare the perfect market and the imperfect markets with each other for 26 marks. Or they can go and be very specific and ask you to compare the monopoly with the perfect market or one of the other imperfect markets. Then, with market failure, discuss in detail the following factors that lead to the misallocation of resources in the market. Then, discuss in detail state intervention as a consequence of market failures with the aid of relevant graphs. With module 4, the following has been identified. First of all, discuss in detail the consequences of inflation, and then discuss in detail the measures to combat demand pull and or cost push inflation. Now, they can ask you that's a combination of the 2, or they can go and be very specific and ask of you only one of them, either the demand pull or the cost push. Then discuss in detail the effects of tourism. Then discuss in detail the benefits of tourism. Then we have discussed in detail how the government can ensure sustainable development, and also discuss in detail the problems and international measures taken to ensure sustainable development. Now, when we go and look at the command verbs that they can ask you, first of all, one of the biggest questions that is there is to evaluate. You need to evaluate something, and here usually you're going to answer as follows. First of all, you're going to give a positive or negative influence on the economy in regards of this topic. So you're going to give either one or the other, or you can give both. Then, how effective is this topic? They said, for example, the implementation of the policies. Then give current statistics. That is always a good one to give because it will ensure you those marks. Then make a judgment with evidence. So you bring the statistics in with your discussion. Assess effectiveness of the concept. So you're going to discuss it very thoroughly and making sure that understand if it is effective or not. Is it positive for our economy or not? Give a solution for the problem if possible, Find a creative way to, as a solution for this. Make sure you support your answer. Explain how you get to your answer. That is very important. Make sure it is a full explanatory fact that you give for the marker, or else you're going to lose marks. The how, what, and why questions. Now, this is going to be how is X relevant to Y? So you're going to have the concepts there where you're going to need to, how does one lead to the other? How is the one similar or different from the other? What are the major reasons for this? What is the impact of B on C? And then what are some of the problems that occur? Why did, for example, changes occur? And then explain how you get to your answer. Assume that the market does not know anything and tell a story for them. Make sure that that it is very explanatory. The distinguish or compare question is where you need to go and make sure that you discuss both topics. If you're only going to discuss one, you're going to only obtain half the marks. How do the topics differ from each other, or how are they the same? You can put in both of them in your discussion. Full explanatory facts need to be given, or else you're only maximizing it with 2 marks. The relation between two things, when it's asked for you in that regard, you're going to need to, first of all, how does one lead to the other? That's what you need to discuss. And usually here, you're going to promote and support your answer. Or how does it promote or support the other topic? Make the connection between the two. Connect the first one with the second one. The economic study and answer tip that I'm going to give you. The studying of your work, first of all, you're going to choose a module to focus on for each paper. Like, for example, with paper 1, you might choose module 1, and with paper 2, you might choose module 4. You're going to make sure you know the long questions and definitions thoroughly from this module. That's the third thing that you're going to study. And then you're going to carry on to the rest of the module that you have chosen. After you know that word, then you start with the other module. And you start there with the definitions, move to the long questions, and then the rest of the content. When it comes to answering the paper, you're going to start with your long question, because that usually takes the longest amount of time. Then you're going to do your section A, because it's easy marks that you can obtain, and then you're moving on to your section B questions. And remember here, make sure that you answer the question that is about the module that you have chosen. Let's say, for example, you have chosen module 3 with paper 1 as your focus module. You will then answer the questions as follows. Question 1, because it's compulsory. Then you're going to do question 3 and 4 with section B. And then you're going to do question 6 with section C. That's going to be a better answering method for you then, and helping you to obtain the most possible marks. Please make sure when you are answering that with section B, you answer 2 questions. Not just 1, but 2. And also not all 3, because then we only mark the first 2. Do not leave the space open. Try and answer the questions, all of them. At section A, with question 1, when it comes to 1.1 and 1.2, don't give double answers. Like, for example, at A/C, it will not be marked. It's going to be marked wrong. And then with 1.3, do not give us any abbreviations, acronyms, or examples. Again, it will be marked wrong. So unnecessary marks are going to be lost there. At section B, you're going to answer question 2 to 4. Make sure you write full sentences, except if asked to list something or to give one answer. Then make sure inside answers are economic and question relevant. With section C, question 5 and 6, you're going to choose one there. Make sure of your structure is correct. With your structure is first of all your introduction, is the definition or the description of the topic. Don't go here and answer it like a history paper. Make sure it is a definition or a description that you give. Then with the content, it is going to be all the facts in regard of the topic that you have that you need to answer. And then the additional part here is usually an insight question, and make sure you keep it question and economic relevant. And then your conclusion, it is based on the content. Take a fact that is within your content and connect it to the current economic state that we have. I hope this will help you for your final exam. Good luck from my side.